Okay, here we go. My top 5 films of 2024. Coming in at number 5, we've got James Mangold's A Complete Unknown. I was a huge fan of his biopic, Walk the Line, when I was a kid and kind of grew up on that film. And he rinse, wash, repeats kind of the process and all the notes that work for this Bob Dylan biopic. Plus, the film introduced me to a lot of great music that I wasn't familiar with before. Coming in at number 4, you might be surprised to hear me say Nosferatu by Robert Eggers. Robert Eggers is this master storyteller. He nails these atmospheric folk stories, and with this one, he intentionally juxtaposed a lot of the truthful theology that is in the Bible. Themes like Christ is the coming savior of the world in 3 days is not on display in this film. This film is essentially the opposite of that. But when you look through it through a biblical perspective, you realize, yes, it's really dark, but it's incredibly smart and incredibly artistic. Robert Eggers continues to impress me. There's no director that can do what he can do, and that's why Nosferatu made this list. Coming in at number 3, we have The Brutalist. I had the pleasure of seeing this film on IMAX in 70mm. It's a deep, complicated story of the American experiment. The score is triumphant. This is a very small and contained film about people and relationships, but it's brought to the screen in an epic scale. It inspires me and reminds me of some of my favorite past works in all of cinema. I loved The Brutalist, even with a controversial second half of the film. It works for me. Coming in at number 2, we have The Wild Robot, an animated children's film that's about the tenderness of life, growing up, social order, fitting in, and most of all, the parenting experience. This is an epic animated picture that truly hits different as a parent. I can't recommend Wild Robot enough. And coming in at number 1, we've got Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2. You knew that this would be the top spot. It's this epic, triumphant tale of the anti-hero. I love everything from the cinematography, acting on display, and the score by Hans Zimmer. It all comes together in this crescendo that is wildly satisfying.
May thy knife chip and shatter.